we know that the world is hurting.
Right.
And it's not because that there's necessarily something wrong with anyone in particular. There's nothing wrong with us. Like, you're not broken. You're not broken.
No.
You're not broken. But
No, I think what a lot of people don't realize is struggle is part of the human condition.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, no one is born and has a perfect life.
Well, if they
up
do,
until the day they die.
And sometimes if they do, the crazy thing is when they do, I know people who have had the perfect childhood and the perfect family,
right? But
they have a fear of failure. And then they go and F up their own lives.
Right. Well, and so that's what I mean. Even if you set yourself up, even if you were perfect in every way up to a certain point, struggles develop. It's part of the human condition to learn.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like so many people don't realize that, like you said, they're not broken. They're learning.
Right.
And all we have to do is point that out.
We have to point that out. And that's it. We give them that direction.
And help them figure out what they're here to learn.
Not by telling them, but by them by divulging it. They get to experience it.
By giving them the tools.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's why you come to a place like Earth. I feel like the Earth is about transcending the contrast. It's about experiencing the contrast so you know, like, okay, this is not who I am. Like,
so when you say contrast, just to be clear, it's like the contrast is what you don't want.
Polarity. So it's like you come to Earth where there's, I guess you could perceive dissonance, you could perceive good and bad.
Exactly.
You come to a place where those two polar opposite things exist.
It's funny that we're talking about this right now because for the last 2 days I've been thinking about like duality and what do you say, polarity? Polarity, yeah. So I'm thinking about like it's raining today, but like, you know, what's your perception on rain? You know, the energy was low today, right? Earlier. It's like, oh, it's fucking raining, blah, 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 and my day sucks.
Be no one, Aaron. Right? Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey.
But yeah, if there were no rain, we would have no green grass and flowers. Right. If there were no darkness, there will be no light. If there's no sadness, we can't experience happiness. Right. So it's all okay.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
But
what is our perception around it? I was telling Ryan earlier, I'm at a point now, he said, talk to me about gratitude or how grateful you are about your life right now, because everything looks pretty good. And I started giggling, right? I was like, you know what, it's funny you say that, because yeah, it is pretty good. But, you know, I think a big reason why it is what it is and it is so good is because even when stuff is bad, when stuff happens now, I giggle. I enjoy it because I'm like,
ooh, challenge.
Something really, really good is going to be on the other side of this. Yeah. Whether it's something tangible or it's something internal. Something really, really, really good is going to come of this. When you can have that perception and understand that all of the stuff that's happening bad, there's something good, even if it's just a lesson, even if it's just growth, and even if it's just evolvement and furthering me and helping me to become my best self.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nothing else other than maybe someday, 5 years from now, I'm going to meet someone who's going through this and I'm going to be able to help them through because I've been there and I know the way out. Right. Sometimes that's all it is. But we can't always allow our circumstances to get inside and affect who we are.
Defeat our energy
and create this like devalue us, right? So in other words, our circumstances are not us. It's like if you have body fat, like you aren't fat, right? If you are experiencing no money right now, it doesn't mean you are broke.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're poor. You just don't have money right now. It's just part of your story.
I said that to you the other day.
It's true.
So I'm not poor. I just don't happen to have any money right now.
I'm not a poor person.
But I'm not a poor person. Poor is a frame of mind.
Yeah.
Broke is a frame of mind.
Yeah, and I try to teach my husband this because for a long time I wasn't being validated in my emotions. Emotions are fine as long as you don't like dwell there all the time, right? Because emotions are very revealing about what's going on inside. But you know, I was trying to say, you know, just because I'm sad right now doesn't mean I'm like a depressed or a sad person. I'm having like a sad moment. Like, let me have this moment, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you have to stay there, though.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
We should start a podcast.
We should start an
empowerment podcast.
Yeah.
This is a podcast right now, but we're just filming it.
Periscope is huge. We could get on. I have Periscope. We get on Periscope right now and continue our conversation and have people tuning into it. But the only thing is, it's not like recorded forever. I don't think.
we need to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Once a week, we just
So-
get together and we just talk for an hour.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do.
I love that though.
Yeah.
But for I think it's really clear at this point that I think for everybody on the planet, but especially us, our most organic selves are our most valuable selves. You know what I mean?
For sure.
These conversations that we have are the most valuable ones, and then what we do is we try to reproduce them and try to write it all down.
It doesn't work.
And it does work. It totally works. I mean, we get the message out there.
Yeah.
We get it out there effectively, but
We're just talking.
these real moments,
it has a different feel.
there's a whole
It's
different
tangible.
tangible.
It creates like a tangible thing on
Right.
the table that we can reach out and touch.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the people watching can experience it with us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which produces healing. So we were just having
Yeah.
conversation, and Ryan found healing in it just
Yeah.
because we're talking.
Let me ask you this, what I asked her, because I've felt this way since Dad died.
Okay.
She said she's felt this way, and I'm pretty sure I know your answer. I felt since he died, not in an egotistical way at all, not egotistical.
You have a habit, like I have a habit, which I'm getting rid of now, but
You have to explain
Yeah.
yourself.
Qualifying.
it's a disclaimer.
Disclaiming your self-confidence and self-worth.
Yeah, when,
Yeah.
you should.
Right.
We don't.
It's okay. It's
I'm gonna
okay.
rescind my disclaimer.
Okay.
I have something that I've felt in me since I was 17 years old. That my soul is special.
Mm-hmm.
It has a message. It has a specific, unique quality about it that humanity is asking for.
Right.
I've had this quality that I've always felt that I'm a little different.
Yes.
Do you have
Yeah.
that?
I have had that since long before Dad died.
Crazy.
I was born with that.
myself as well.
I've known it. I've known it since I could consciously like have forward thinking thoughts. So about age 5 or 6, you can start thinking forward, and that's when your sort of creative self comes about, you know. And as soon as I was capable of having thoughts like that, I knew I was different.
So I've
known I was different than at least different than a lot of people I was experiencing
At the time.
on the same plane at the time.
So-
and I've taken that with me.
What I've always wondered is, I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because I've always wondered, does everyone feel that way? Does everyone feel that way? And
Should
also,
everyone?
there's a lot to say about it, right? But I have
I
plenty
know
of
that was the first place my brain went,
also,
right?
right? But also, does everyone feel this way? But also, right? It's almost, isn't it amazing that it's okay to say these things about ourselves, right? So
Right.
for me, for a long, I think humans in general, they have a hard time. But we always want to put the disclaimer. This is not an arrogance. I say that all the time. This is not an arrogant way.
But I'm not being cocky.
I'm not being cocky. What's wrong with loving ourselves? What's wrong with
Yeah.
owning who we are? Isn't it funny?
I
We are
think-
taught and conditioned
Right.
to minimize ourselves,
Right.
and not accept compliments and
Absolutely.
not compliment ourselves.
I think the sort of collective self-consciousness feeds on itself. Groupthink is a really dangerous and powerful thing.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this the other day. It's more acceptable to struggle and be self-deprecating and things like
Yeah.
that, especially in the eyes of insecure, self-deprecating, people who are in places in that place in their life right now, and it becomes this collective, this like social sort of
like it's more acceptable to like dwell on things and be
Right.
negative and talk
Right.
smack than
Right.
it is to be positive and happy and build each other up.
right. We talked about this the other day. I said, Aaron, think about how many people you interact with on a day-to-day basis, and hey, how are ya is like you ask that to everybody down to like the barista at Starbucks, right? Who you've never seen before, right? So hey, how are ya? What's the nature of the response? Standard. The standard nature of the response is
I'm okay.
I'm okay, or
Same
to complain,
shit.
or to
Same
complain,
shit. Yeah.
and we accept that, and that's like cool. But the one person you meet maybe once every month, once every 3 months, once every 6 months, answer, hey, how are you? Answers that question. I'm really great today. How are you? It makes some people uncomfortable.
It's funny.
And you have to wonder why. And it's this. We all have struggle. We all have insecurity and self-doubt. And that's the one thing that we have in common.
This will kill us because for me on this whole topic, for a long time, I talked earlier about kind of living under this bar that others have set for me. But anytime I rose above it, I got this external message of who does she thinks she's better.
Right.
So then it was needed
group think.
Yeah,
Nasty.
she thinks she's better. And who is she?
Yeah.
To do that. Who is she? Oh, she. Yeah. There's a lot of craziness. There's a lot of craziness. So it's almost like but it's almost like what I learned from is honestly, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So you might as well do.
You are. And what you can take to the bank is that any negative reaction to growth is a reflection on that person and not on you.
So a lot of times words that are spoken to you are not a reflection of you.
Right.
Remember this, Ellie.
Right.
They are a reflection of the individual who's speaking those words.
Take it with
I
you.
agree, but I'm going to have to just throw my own little caveat in there.
Yeah.
I think that's 100% true, but I also do think that the only reason why that manifests is to also show you the places in which you are still unhealed. So she says those things, even though I know that it's not 100, like it's a reflection of her, the way she's going about it.
Right.
There is also like, why did I cry?
Right.
Because there is still a little not enoughness feeling. Even though I know I'm a great dad. Even though I know like I'm giving my son a better life than like the majority of dads in this world could possibly do.
Yeah. So
there's still that little bit of like I don't feel like enough from past whatever. So I think that's why it also kind of manifests. So it's a reflection of them, but it also kind of shows you like
the gap.
Also
the gap between where you at what you've actually learned and intellectually what you're practicing to learn. Right? Because this is a process. You don't just have one conversation like boom, you're healed.
Got it.
Right?
I used to think that.
Take liberate you and boom, you're healed.
Right? Your problem, prayers have been answered.
Hallelujah.
8 weeks to enlightenment.
There's a gap.
97.
There's always a gap between where you really are and what you're practicing, what you're honing, what you're trying for. But maybe you're right. Maybe it is a slight. What the folks choose to pick on and poke on. Maybe that's a little bit sort of reflection of.
Well, if it's all energy,
the space between.
If it's all energy, then it's got to be a reflection.
Right,
because if you weren't on that wavelength, you couldn't even be in that situation.
The beauty of all of this is often the things that we struggle with the most are what we are the best teachers of. So this is where we heal.
Absolutely.
This is where we heal the world.
Absolutely.
It is.
Because those are our gifts.
For sure.
Because we're
the struggle is a gift. You understand?
Yeah, Rumi. It's that quote that Rumi said in like 1300. Whatever the wound is where the light enters you or whatever.
Okay, people move this. Seriously, this happens all the time. We'll sit here, we'll have a powerful moment, and every one of us will get goosebumps at the same time.
That means energy is transferable, by the way. So
this is how powerful this is.
So your wound, like it sounds so negative, and it sounds like I'm wounded, but that is also your greatest gift.
It's your greatest gift,
and where all of your everything comes from.
Exactly why people wonder right now, Aaron, how can you possibly talk about all this life stuff, all this shit that has happened to you, and you not cry, you're happy? Like, how are you actually happy? Are you for real? Like, are you really happy, or are you really dying?
Or are you a good actress?
No. Like, I'm standing on top of my story because my perception has changed, and I understand that every single thing in our lives literally is a gift. And anything that ever happens to us, it doesn't matter other than the fact that one, it is a gift for one, and two, we have a choice. The only thing that you need to know is that you have a choice about who you are right here and now in this moment.
Fully agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the things that happen to you that you're meant to learn from. I think it's really important to say this. I think none of us have touched on this, and I was thinking about it the other day, and it just sort of organically came into my mind right now. So I think this is good timing. Is these things that are happening. This is the whole point. Everything bad that happens to us is a gift. It is the universe or God or whatever you believe showing you that things can change, things need to change, what have you.
Right.
But and your perspective of these things and the perspective that we're trying to show people is brilliant. It's like, ooh, a challenge, right? But why is it a learning experience, right? It's because in it, bad things, negative things make you feel bad, right? They make you feel yucky. They make you feel gross. They make you feel sad. They make you feel upset or offended or angry or really scared, right? And these feelings aren't to be ignored, I don't think, right? Because these are, like, to make an analogy, if the lesson is how to solve an equation, these emotions, these negative emotions that we're learning how to overcome and deal with are all the different parts of the equation.
Yeah.
They're there to show us.
You know what I mean? Revealing.
They're revealing.
They're revealing about the revealing,
right.
The reveal that we talked about yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
They're revealing what's going on.
Right. They're there to show us what's not serving us.
Right. So
to ignore them is not what we're talking about.
Ignoring things.
Rising above them and looking at them, yes.
Well, changing the story.
Right. But not in the immediate trying to just be perfect and be happy and smile all the time. Like you guys, I came in today very upset and you guys were like, get it out, cry.
Yeah.
Be upset. You know what I mean? So that's just,
yeah.
I think really
look
important.
At you now.
Look at you now.
And here I
It's
am.
like a different thing.
But it's true.
Kind of like when I came in too, I was like,
But it's true.
sorry.
You know, both my brother and I, for totally different reasons, are in the midst of real struggle.
Yeah. You know,
But like you said,
there's
this is
a lot
not
of-
acting.
there's a lot
We're
of
happy people.
there's a lot of value in what you just said, because what you ignore gets ugly.
Right.
What you ignore will keep showing up until you've learned the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It will keep.
Right.
That's why we see women
I
who keep
love
getting
that.
women
I just
who
got
keep
goosebumps.
getting in bad relationships, and people
Right.
who keep earning money and then losing money,
Right.
and things
Right.
will keep reoccurring until losing weight and gaining weight. It
How
keeps recurring until you
familiar-
learn the lesson. So hold on, I want to say.
Yeah. How familiar does this story sound? It'll be better next time.
It'll be better next
And then
time.
no actions change. Right?
Yeah.
I'll leave him the next time he
Yeah.
punches me.
Yeah.
I'll leave him.
The next guy
time
will be
he
different, but then you don't change your behavior.
The next, right, until you
Yeah.
change your stories,
Right.
you're going to walk into that room full of 100 amazing men and you're going to leave with the only asshole.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep.
So what you ignore gets ugly. That's
Yes.
what I mean by that. So
Yes.
I talk a lot about Dr. Emoto and his rice experiment. Did I share that with you guys?
No,
I love
that.
that.
I Instagrammed that like
I love
a few weeks
that.
ago.
So
Yeah.
the one,
That's
what
the one that
you-
David chose to share.
What you ignore gets ugly. So the what you give love to grows and turns into something really
And
beautiful.
flourishes.
Love is everything. We know that. What you're mean to, yes, that turns black, and that's an ugly thing as well. But what you ignore will change the most and manifest in the most negative ways. So the stuff that we're ignoring, that we're not facing and changing and releasing from, replacing with a better new story that serves us better, that's going to keep, it's going to keep coming up, and it's going to get uglier and uglier. Eventually, shit's going to hit the fan, right?
Right.
If you keep ignoring and squashing, this
Right.
was me, I was a positive Patty. Through all that stuff, everything is fine.
I'm fine, I'm good,
Everything's
I'm good.
What did I say in the video?
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, what happens when a positive Patty loses her shit? Have you ever seen
Right.
that? That's ugly.
That's kind of who I am.
That's me. Like I
Those
was
are my
never-
tendencies too.
I'm never agitated. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Eventually, one day,
You just snap.